Welcome back to the Baseball Blue Book Podcast, where we focus on the journey, not the destination. Brought to you by the Baseball Blue Book app. Are you in the book? And now, your host, Eric Wobanaw. Welcome back to the Baseball Blue Book Podcast. My name is Eric Wobanaw, the president of the Baseball Blue Book, and we're really excited today, moving west in our conversations with coaches and baseball journeys. We have Coach Danny Acosta with us with Iowa Lakes Community College, my home state. So it's exciting to have a coach from the great state of Iowa on with us today. How are you, Coach?
Thank you, Eric, for having me here. I'm very good. I'm very excited for this. This is a great opportunity for me and for our program as well.
Well, that's great. That's exactly what we kind of created it for. One of the things that the listeners love is to hear the journeys of the coaches, but really as important is talking about the program. And so at the end of this, we'll have an opportunity to talk about Iowa Lakes Community College, what makes the program unique, why players should consider it, and it's just a great opportunity to give you guys a platform to talk about your program. So, Coach, let's go ahead and get started with your journey. When did it start? I know that you are from Puerto Rico, which is awesome. We were talking about it before, having a Puerto Rican up in my state of Iowa. Love it. We welcome it. We welcome the unique perspective and certainly the great baseball minds that come out of the islands, right? A lot of baseball players come from there. So let's go ahead and start with the beginning and kind of what got you into baseball and how it all started.
Eric, everything is my dad's fault. He introduced me to baseball. He was a coach at the AA level in Puerto Rico when I was a young kid, and just being around the guys, being around the game, just made me fall in love. I call it that it's the baseball bug. I got infected and I can't get rid of it. So it's one of those things. So yeah, my journey started when I was very young, like I said, and just went through the channels like everybody, just play my days, and as I got older, got out of high school, I got hurt and couldn't continue playing ball at the level that I wanted. So decided to start coaching very early. So I've been coaching since probably I was 20 or 21 years old. I was blessed with the opportunity to be hired as an assistant pitching coach at AA level in the island, and there I learned quite a bit because obviously I was working with older guys. And just to going through the motions. And I remember the pitching coach back then. He was a former major league pitcher for the Yankees, and I learned tremendously from him. So and after that, obviously I continued my career. I was hired as a pitching coach and property of another AA team, and just continue there. But baseball is so revolving that that year wasn't very good. So my manager got fired, and so was everybody else.
That happens. That happens.
Oh yeah. I took a job at another team, and actually ended up as a head coach of that team. And from there, everything took off for me. Um, Moved to Florida in '99 to stay. Obviously, I was working in different type of jobs, different type of businesses, but always find my way to the baseball field. And I spent 3 years with the Cubs organizations in Daytona, helping them as a BP pitcher and assistant hitting coach
Okay.
for some time. Yeah. and just continue moving on to the collegiate ranks, and so on and so forth until I'm here now as a head coach in Iowa Lakes.
That's great. What is the what's the biggest difference between coaching at the professional level, even though it's the minor league system, to the collegiate level?
I say, well, when it comes to the field stuff, is the determination these players have, and the focus and commitment they have to their profession. They know and they understand that there's always somebody behind them looking for their job, so they got to get better every day. So I think and not all of them, but I think the collegiate athlete sometimes does not or take the game for granted.
Okay.
That it's always going to be there. So they got to understand they have to push forward and push harder.
That's a great point. It's the perspective that the game is continuing to move forward, and you better grab that opportunity when you have it, that makes a lot of sense. So you were in the minor league system, the Cubs organization, the couple other organizations. When was the transition over to the collegiate level? And talk about how that happened, and where did you go from there?
Well, as the Cubs organization was in the in plans of moving the Class A team to Myrtle Beach, I wasn't able to make that transition as well. So I decided to start moving into the collegiate environment. Um, Obviously, you want to stay within the professional baseball because it's the highest level of the game, and as a young kid, you always want to make it to the big leagues. So coaches as well. So wanted to stay there, couldn't do it. So decide to move on to the college, and the transition is not really difficult. It's more to have the direction and know what you want to do. But once you're focused on what you want to do, you're here, you get the job done.
Yeah. You talked about the difference between the two levels is really the commitment of the players. What have you used in learning that, in distilling kind of the level of commitment to the players? And community college is a very unique situation for baseball players, right? A lot of times it's development years, allowing them to kind of develop maybe where they haven't developed properly and moving forward. And some of them it's academics, but also sometimes it's more play, right? I talk to community colleges, say, fall ball, you're playing 20, 30 games where you couldn't do that at the NCAA level. What have you done, or what is kind of your philosophy of bringing or transitioning some of that level of commitment at the professional level to your program?
Well, my academic background is sports psychology, so I use a lot of sports psychology techniques to help the guys move forward from the high school ranks into the collegiate ranks, and letting them know that the level of commitment obviously has to be at a different level if they want to move on to the next level. And you're right about the playing time. The fall is a great time for junior college players, because we do play 25 to 30
Yeah.
games. Plus practice, plus the other stuff that you do. So there's a lot of developmental time there. But yeah, it's just the communication with them, and continue to reinforce what you say day after day after day. One of my advice to collegiate and JUCO level guys is focus on your academics. Because number one, I mean, we know that you know how to play baseball, and baseball perhaps could open the door for the next level. But what's going to get you in is the
Yeah.
books. So junior college guys, coaches, we battle with grades a lot. So, and that's something that needs to change, at least coming from the kids coming to the collegiate
No,
ranks.
it's really good advice. You're a student before you are an athlete, and really to focus
Absolutely.
on what you need to do to help you get to that next level. So I love your background, sports psychology. There's so many different practices when you think about that, and what are some of the things that you kind of implement in your program that has to do with more the mind side of the game, and what are some things that you might want to share with people on something that might be overlooked that really has helped you and helped your players kind of get over some of the issues or challenges that they might have?
Well, it's really simple. It's not rocket science. It's just number one, stay positive. Stay positive through adversity. Baseball is based on failure to begin with, so why complicate it? Obvious visualization. Helping them recreate these plays and focus on what they want to do, but you got to recreate it in your mind before it happens. uh, Breathing techniques. Some of the other stuff is just positive self-talk, stuff like that. But it's really not rocket science. It's just reinforce what is there.
Isn't it funny? The easiest things are the hardest things.
Absolutely, absolutely, all the time. Yeah, let's say a position player is 0 for 10, and he's thinking that the world is coming to an end.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and you just say a couple things. Maybe just a word. Hey, relax.
right.
And he goes there, just has some deep breath before the at bat, and there's a base hit. So
Yeah.
so that's just it. That's just what it is.
It is funny. I mean, you can convince. It's like raising kids to say, you tell them something so basic, and if they just did it, how much of a change it would be in their life. And
Absolutely.
you're working with these kids that are there's so much going on at that collegiate level, right? The transition from high school into college. It's you're a big kid, and now you're becoming a man, and there's a lot of things. That's what I love about baseball, right? It is a sport of failure, and so there are some basic, simple things that you can really help to get your mind in the right way, which lends to other things and other areas. And so, talk about kind of the transition or the how these techniques work on the ball field inside the lines as well as outside the lines.
Well, the everything that we do translate to everywhere. It just doesn't stay on the baseball field. Because you're going to face adversity outside the baseball field, in the classroom, with a teacher, with an assignment, or a
Right.
test, and all these techniques apply to everything. Again, you calm down, you take deep breath, you try to get your mind blank, and start moving forward, and get engaging with your task. So I just always tell them just to stay consistent in what you do, and it should be fine. But it also takes
Right.
preparation. That goes back to the level of commitment and how much they want to put in the table for training and for the academic side. If you show up for a test without reading the book, then
Yep.
there's not much that you're going to be able to
Right.
do. Same on the field. If you don't dedicate the time, the game is not going to reward you. And on the contrary, the game is going to give you a slap in the face.
It's a real it really shows it exposes a lot, right? The game it exposes preparation, exposes someone that is just going through the motions. You mentioned something about a routine, right? Baseball, you hear a lot with coaches of that routine. You've got to have a routine, and you have a lot of things that you have from the psychology side of the positivity, the breathing, the visualization. How do you implement that in these ball players' routine that may have never heard of this side of the sport, the mental side, or knows about it but doesn't really understand how to get that into their daily routine?
Yeah, a lot of guys know and at least have heard of this because it's growing and it's every day it's getting more exposed out there in the
Yep.
media. A lot of professional athletes are sharing some of these techniques they use to prepare before. You know, the guys normally like to use the music as a way of finding the
Yeah.
zone. uh, and I encourage that because I use it myself. It's just one of the things. Sometimes I just need to listen to a good tune and go from
Yep.
there. And I encourage them to use music before practice, and obviously the different type of breathing techniques before practice. That way they can prepare for what it is. And it's just like I said, we in the beginning of the semester we talk about all this stuff, and try to implement it every day. But we do have a daily routine that we do every day, and not necessarily on the sports psychology side, but on the mechanical side of baseball. So we do the consistent things.
No, that's good. That's good. Um, I always like to talk about the successes and failures of the coach. What would be one of the most successful things of your career as a coach?
Getting phone calls from past players telling me that they have graduated, that they got a job here and there. Just received a call not too long ago to let me know that one of my former players is a doctor now.
Nice.
Uh, so yeah, I got another one. They say chiropractor. I got lawyers. Man, I mean, that's the most rewarding thing. Obviously, on the baseball side of things, you like to see the boys move on into the professional ranks, but we know that not everybody is going to play professional baseball. So, but when we get those calls, I think that the success of the guys is
Yep.
what we're
You
looking
really hear
for.
that a lot. One of the things that I'm so impressed with coaches these days is where their success lies, and 9 out of 10 times it has to do with graduating, finding a career, finding happiness through something maybe that would be outside of baseball. So baseball was utilized as kind of a conduit to get them to where they need to be, and I think that's really admirable of the coaches to. You guys, you're there to win, right? You're there to win ball games,
Sure.
but you're also there to really help these young men figure out what they want to do and how to be young men, right, in this world.
Hey, they are the generation that's gonna take over after us. So
Yep.
we gotta have a solid a base of guys out there just doing their jobs. It's just that's important. That's important
Yep.
to me.
No, that's really great. I appreciate you sharing that, Coach. Now, what about the biggest failure? One of the areas that was probably the most difficult time in your career, and then how did you kind of respond and go from there?
Well, losing, is the ultimate failure. In baseball, we want to win at all the
Yep.
games. Want to win it all, but that's not possible in baseball. One win, another lose, and also, obviously, going back to the students, just guys that don't make it for whatever reason, reasons that go beyond us, problems back
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Just situations like that. I would say that's the failure. Yeah, the worst news I've gotten is somebody getting arrested. So those type of stories are the ones that you don't want to hear, but yeah, it does
Yeah.
happen. So
No, you know what? It's one of the things that we don't talk a lot with coaches about is the turnover. These kids that come in ready to go, ready to take the world on, and
fire up.
something happens, a circumstance, a situation, and they're based, you know, they're almost lost, right? And you guys go through year after year after year, you've got a whole new roster, and really trying to keep in touch or account for these players has got to be a tough thing. And it's almost like baseball, right? It's striking out 4 times or 5 times, going over 10, but then coming back and being able to have that base hit or a winning run or whatever it might be. It's very similar to life and what's going on out there. So again, I appreciate you sharing some of those stories, and it's great to know that you are concerned with the well-being of these players. I think one of the things that you know, they're kids, right? These kids don't realize that we're just normal guys, right? We're just normal people trying to help and do the best that we can. And so I think that's really great. Talk about your philosophy. What when kids come on campus and join your program, what do they learn real quick about Coach Acosta?
That I'm very intense. Yeah. That's I'll let them know, you know, right away during their visit that, you know, they need to have their priorities straight. You know, they need to understand that, you know, they're making a commitment to academics and to sports, and the sports side of thing is going to be a full time and then
Yep.
some. Uh, for that reason, their priorities got to be in line. Otherwise, they'll fail the academic side, and obviously, if you have failed the academic side, the baseball side cannot go.
Yep.
So that's the first thing right off the bat. You know, they hear from me and from my coaches. My assistant coaches are very good, and they're very knowledgeable of what they're doing and what I like and I don't like. So I sometimes, and majority of the time, I let them take over the visit, and they will tour the campus with the prospective student athlete, and I stay behind so they can talk, and then we'll meet, and you know that's when we
Okay.
go about business.
Okay. No, that's good. Intense. I like that. What now? Talk about kind of your program. What makes Iowa Lakes uh, a community college that the kids should really consider?
Well, Iowa Lakes is a family. So that's the first thing. It's a small school. Um, we don't have the large amount of students like you see in 4-year schools.
Yep.
So there's personal attention from the instructors, and the instructors care about their students and what's going on with their academics, and actually what's going on with their baseball program. Everybody's there to help. You know, they do their job and put the students first. So that's, I think, for me, that's unique, and that's very important from when I'm looking for a school. On the baseball side of thing is that, you know, we like I said, intense is a word that we use. Also, we have a couple slogan. They trust the process, and the most important for me is do your job.
There you
You
go.
know, so you know, if they are, you know, focus on those two, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. You got to trust the process, because you got to trust your coaching staff. And I know kids are coming from different schools. They have their coaches with their philosophies, and you know, but you know, when you get to Iowa Lakes, you know, you have to be open minded to be teach to be immersed into our ways,
Right.
which will allow you to further your career in the collegiate side of things. So I think, you know, just focus on that. You know, that's who we are.
That's great. No, that's great. Before we got on, you had mentioned you have a player that actually is from Japan. So
Mhm.
that's a kind of a leading question into is your recruiting of players kind of just wherever, or is it more localized? Where do you find most of the kids, and how are you, if going outside of that, how are you doing that, and what are some tools that you use, and is it part of the staff's kind of mission to go out and find kids from outside of the area as well?
Sure. Uh, we first of all, we are in one of the best baseball conference in the
Yep.
nation. So that puts things really tough, in the on the recruiting side because there's a lot of schools in the area. There are powerhouse, and I have been, historically there. So a lot of the local kids like to first explore those schools,
Hmm.
obviously, and sometimes a little bit hard to recruit the local kids. Not impossible. Right now we have a good number of them in our squad, but our roster is really diverse. Like I said, I have a kid from Japan, and obviously we use the online access to get a hold of this kid. We saw him. I mean, actually, one of his coaches sent us an email, and we start from there. But we met like we're meeting through a Zoom
Yep.
meeting, and we talk and just got into an agreement. Actually, I'm talking to a kid from Australia right
Okay.
now. Uh, but we got kids from Puerto Rico, we got kids from South America. So that would be Venezuela, Panama. Got a kid, got two kids from Texas, Arizona, Florida. I mean, it's
Oh,
all
that's
over the
great. That's
place.
great. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you, this team has been one of the best culture that we have gotten. They're very unite. They like each other and they want to play with each other. So it's very good. It's very good.
One of the things I love about baseball is the diversity. You look at the major league rosters, and
Oh
you
yeah.
look at just you have so many people from so many different countries. I love it that it's now kind of going down into those the collegiate levels, and especially community colleges. I see that a lot more at
Sure.
the community college level because the
Yes.
opportunity from academic perspective, these kids may not come in with
Yes.
all the background from the education, and so the community college is a really good fit for them, and baseball specifically. I've actually done an interview with Ben Moore. He runs the Down Under League down in Australia, and he's really
Mhm.
helping kids find opportunities up here in the states.
I haven't heard of
Yeah.
him.
Okay. So Ben, um, that's great. Coach, this has been a lot of fun. I like to wrap up kind of talking about some quick points of advice that you would provide. What I'd like to hear from two places. One is to the high school kids. Taking a look at programs, what's one thing that is really important from your perspective?
First of all, is the from their part is having a solid academic background. Got to focus on the academics. Baseball historically has not been a program that has a lot of money for
Right.
scholarship. So you need the academic side on it, so you can get some academic money. So focus on academics, and understand that baseball and at the collegiate level is a lot more demanding than the high school
Yep.
level. So prepare for that. I know there's a trend that people don't like to do a lot of cardio, but I think it's essentially important for the game. It will allow you to do a lot more stuff, at higher levels. So, I just say just prepare yourself. And the other thing is just ask questions. Ask all the questions that you have. A lot of times I get visits and kids they don't ask one single question, and parents have to be asking the questions. And one of the things I tell them, what are you going to do when your parents are
Isn't
not
that the
here?
truth? Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
yeah, what are you going to do? Because I'm not going to talk to your parents. I'm going to talk to
Yeah.
you. So get don't be scared of coaches. Just we're just guys. We went through the process, and while we may look mean, we're not. He just talk to
It,
us. Basically, just be
That's
out there.
great. Intensity does not equal mean. I think that's one thing that,
Right,
yeah, right. You said intense, but that does not mean mean. It means you need
right.
to find an intense coach. You want somebody that is passionate about that. The other question is this, and you brought this up early. You said, everybody's goal is to get to the majors, and that also applies to coaches at most times, right? You started in the majors, and then you came down to the collegiate level. What are some things that if you could talk to some coaches that are thinking, man, I really want to go to the professional level, what are some things that they should consider because you've been to both?
Right now, in today's baseball, the analytics side of thing has taken off and greatly. So I'll encourage the young coaches to understand the analytics and get immersed into it, and not only analytics about the game, but the analytics about exploring options to enhance the player's performance, to
Right.
bioanalysis and a lot of those things. Just get into what is going on today, because you're gonna need it. You're gonna hear about it in interviews. You're gonna hear it everywhere, coaches and coaches. So that's really important. Obviously, the rest of thing is just understand the game, know the game, and not being hesitant about when you need to talk about things. Just speak your mind.
I think that's
So
good.
so yeah.
That's good. No, you're right. There are so many new things. You mentioned the mental side. Obviously, a lot of people talking about that again. You hear nutrition is another one that was almost kind of left behind from a baseball perspective, right? You saw football, you saw the other sports really embracing the nutrition side, and baseball was kind of like, yeah, we're a little behind the terms,
It's
but
important.
you've got I've had people on with sleep, right? Sleep is so important, the nutrition side, the mental side. There are so many things that we're bringing to the table that are so important from an overall perspective rather than just baseball. And that's what I love about it. It's embracing all of these things, finding a balance of it, and making sure that it works for you. Coach, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk to you. You guys, anybody that's checking out Iowa Lakes, it's a beautiful part of the country, kind of the northwest side of Iowa, up by the Lake Okoboji and Spirit Lake. Great place, beautiful up there. My dad actually was a high school coach up in Spirit Lake way back in the 70s. And
Nice.
so I'm kind of in that area, but a wonderful place. Coach, it's been an honor. You're just, man, intense is, I wouldn't see intense, but man, you've got a lot going on for you, and I'm excited to watch your program and see the success. So thank you very much.
Thank you.